The Bills are forced into a massive decision. Buffalo just kicked off training camp, but with one of the most stacked rosters in the AFC, tough choices are already on the horizon. With last year's playoff heartbreak, the pressure is on, not just for veterans trying to hold their spots, but for undrafted rookies ready to take them. Three UDFAs, or undrafted free agents, are standing out, and if they outshine other players at camp, the Bills have no choice but to make room for them. My name is Maeve Miller, and I'm a part of the Bills Digest team, so please subscribe to our Bills Digest YouTube channel. So starting off, I want to talk about why this is coming up, and this is due to the article on the Bills Sports Illustrated page, and it kind of talks about how the Bills have fallen short, but they do have a very strong team, and talk about that, they've received an influx of talent on the defensive side of the ball. This makes it tough for undrafted free agents to crack the 53-man roster, but it's not impossible. Joe Andreessen made his mark last season, and these three rookies could follow in his footsteps. And I kind of like this little preview before the article started because it is not very likely that these players make it, or even make a big impact, but it is important just to note because, like I said, Buffalo Joe, hometown guy, he ended up making the team and actually gets playing time, so it's not impossible by any means, and these are just some of the players that kind of stood out, starting off with Keon Jenkins, who is a safety and linebacker hybrid, which is kind of interesting. He's out of Virginia Tech and put up some very strong numbers there. In this picture, you can see he's getting he's making an interception against Stanford, and that was kind of what he stood out for. He had a lot of interceptions, forced fumbles. He's definitely his size and aggressiveness. He's 6'3", so that obviously helps in a position like that. And obviously, with him being a hybrid player between linebacker and safety, he's very versatile, which is something that the Bills love. McDermott loves it on his defense, and of course, you're going to want a player that can do more than one thing, especially at two positions that the Bills are needed, not lacking, but they definitely need some more support with that. It was also mentioned in the article about special teams that he kind of built for that because he's very reliable at tackling and has that athleticism, which could be a good way to him segue into the team and transition by starting off on special teams. But, players that are at that linebacker position are Matt Milano, who is in his last year of his contract, and it doesn't seem likely that he'll be on the Bills in the future, which is very sad, but it could be a way to make an opening. Dorian Williams, also last year's third-round pick, and he hasn't really proven himself yet, so that's why there was a lot of speculation and talk about Jenkins. And I did see this on Twitter. It said, I wouldn't be shocked if undrafted Virginia Tech linebacker Keon Jenkins finds a way on the Bills' 53-man roster. If he shines like I think he will, it'll be tough camp competition for Andreessen and Spector. I can't wait to see what he brings to the LB squad. And yeah, I think there's a good point about Andreessen and Spector, because I feel like Balen Spector is also leaving a lot to be desired. And they're obviously interested in him are younger sides, so there's a lot more developing time that can happen. But I think Jenkins is someone that should definitely be on the lookout for. Next player is Wanda Owens, who's also getting a lot of publicity. And he is a safety, and this comes at a time where the Bills' safeties, there's a lot of transitions going on in there, and they're the safety depth chart. And, they just lost Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer gone. They've been gone for couple years, and then the current safeties, Taylor Rapp, who I think is playing very well, and then Damar Hamlin, who, has had an insane comeback, but I don't think he's playing with, how the Bills really want him to, and I know, his recovery can't be understated, incredible, but it is hard because, he's not playing his best. And then last year's Cole Bishop, who is just a second year, but he's definitely developing, and Bills do have high hopes for him, but obviously you're not sure when you're only in your sophomore season, and they're just excited to see what he can do. He's a lot of potential. So because of that, the fourth and fifth spots are definitely open for this position. And yeah, Owens just put up impressive numbers. He had 111 tackles in just 13 games at New Hampshire, and also was a cornerback at Yale. So he has a lot of rare coverage skills and is more of a unique player, and also has that versatility that the Bills strive for. And Jenkins, you could also see him on a special teams type because he is very athletic, and it's a good transition to get him more snaps, more playing time. So definitely excited to see what that says. But a lot of people were saying that this is he has the best shot to make the team out of the undrafted free agents, and there's definitely a little bit publicity about him. The Buffalo News had originally posted about Wanda Owens and how he played, switched up in a little background. And Chris Trapasso had said, I think Owens is the UDFA with the best chance to make the Bills roster. So that was kind of, a big thing from an analyst to say that. And I feel like that is exciting. And then in response to that, Let's Go Buffalo said agreed. He should definitely make it through camp and hopefully get some snaps from the preseason games, even if it's third, fourth quarter action, which would be great. Like I said, it's all about experience and getting reps. And this next one said 43 vertical. He's the answer to our Hail Mary problems. Sign me up. Which, as we know, the heartbreak of our Hail Mary, especially against the Cardinals, where Kyler Murray got us there. So it's nice to have those taller guys in the end zone that can block the kind of thing from happening, even though Hail Mary doesn't happen often. I feel like it's still kind of traumatic, and the fact that, this Twitter account was bringing it up is just funny to me. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Owens can do, and I definitely think that he could, like these tweets are saying, that he could be the strongest contender to make the team, and I'd be excited to see that. Lastly, I want to talk about Khiry Lu, and he is a tight end out of the University of Washington. And I also think that his chance to make the team isn't as strong, I feel like, compared to the other players. But he definitely is just a huge guy. And he's very athletic and, played Big Ten football. So he kind of made a name for himself with that. But I think because it is a long shot because of the tight end room right now. We have Dalton Kincaid, who has definitely emerged as the tight end number 1. He's a very strong player. And then at number 2 spot is Dawson Knox, who's been a veteran for years. And definitely has those blocking skills, too, that are, good for a tight end. He's kind of got more of the full package, but doesn't have as good hands as Kincaid, I would say. And at the 3rd tight end spot is likely Jackson Hawes, who they did draft this year in the 5th round. So I think the fact that there's not as much room in this tight end spot is why people don't think he's as likely. But if the Bills want 4 tight ends, it could be an option. He's 6'6". You can see this picture. He's huge, massive wingspan. And yeah, it's a good red zone option, to have a tall guy in there. And, obviously he's really willing to block, which, like I said, with Knox, you want a player out there that is not just in it to get the ball, but also to block and make plays for other teammates. So I like that about Latu, and I'm excited to see if he could. And it also helps that the wide receiver room is relatively young. And we know with the Bills on their offense, anyone can get the ball. It doesn't matter if you're the 4th string or the player with the most yards on the team. You can get that ball and can make a big difference. So excited to see that. And he definitely stuck out at Washington. He said with 31 catches, 308 yards through 10 games, he's on pace for the 2nd best Husky tight end season in the last decade. So I feel like that shows that even though he is underrated and was undrafted, that he still made a big impact at his college. And it shows that maybe he's ready to bulk up and make that big impact for the Bills if, someone like, knock on wood, Kincaid or Knox were to get hurt. So yeah, I think these 3 players definitely something to look out for. Like I said before, it's not always super likely that these players make the cut, but, a couple of guys, especially Jenkins or Owens, people were saying that they have a real shot. So I'm excited to see what that happens. And obviously, training camp and just the preseason games, I feel like will be the most give the most insight on how these guys will go because they'll be playing more and getting more experience. And obviously we'll see that team chemistry because that plays a big factor into it. But yeah, keep an eye out for these guys in the next couple months. Once again, please subscribe to the Bills Digest YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and go Bills.